In this video, let's pick up where we left off in the last video. In the last video, we worked a little bit on the colors, so we got the toolbar color red, we made the button go in the middle, and we also ran the app. And if I go to the emulator, you can see I already have it up and running. You can select your emulator like we did in a previous video, then hit OK, and then we can go back to our emulator and we can see it'll open up. So there we are. So we have the red on the top, the status bar, the toolbar. That right there is something that was kind of built in for us. Don't need to mess with that, we'll do it later. We also have this button in the middle of this screen. Then we have a floating action button. You can see when we press on the floating action button, it just pops up a little what's called a snack bar. So these are not too hard to create, and we can do that in a future video, or we can just dismiss it, I think. So we have our icon there. That's kind of a common feature of, or not a common UI for most Android apps, is to have a floating action button. That's what the round icon is. So what we're gonna do is, I don't really like that mail icon. Let's change the icon to something else. So you might already have your favorite place online where you go to find your icons. You can buy them. There's some free, there's some that are open source. There's some for the web, there's some for Android and iOS. But in this, we're going to use the built-in icons from Android Studio. So all we need to do is, well, it's going to be a couple of steps. But so here's the emulator. So remember, it has the mail icon there. Let's change it to something else. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to open up the right file. So let's go. So if your site looks like that, go ahead and open up projects. Make sure you have Android selected, and it might, some of this stuff might be open for you, so it'll look kind of like that. If not, if it looks like that, just go ahead and open up app, resources, layouts, and then we've been working with content main here, and that's content main. But the floating action button for this video is actually going to be inside of activity main, because when we created this video, or when we created this project a couple of videos ago in part 1, that's just kind of how we pressed like the design mode or whatever it was called. The floating action button just came along with it. So we can see here, so not in content main, but in activity main. Then it'll open up here, and you can either have text view or text mode or design mode. Then this can also open and close. So if it looks like that, do that. You can kind of switch back and forth between those. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and select this. And we should see an icon here. So if we go over to the right, you can see we have source or src compat. And if you don't see that there, that might be closed over there. You can open up attributes, but make sure you select this right thing. So you first have to click on the, let's see if unselect that. First you have to click on the floating action button. Then you can see, you can see what you can, there's also those arrows right there. This includes everything, about everything you can modify. And then if we can kind of toggle back between those two. So then again, that might be closed. Select the floating action button, open up attributes, then just, you can use that arrow to go, those arrows there to go back and forth. So these are kind of like the main controls. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to go ahead and select source compat. And I don't usually do it this way, but there are a number of ways to get icons into here. You can kind of see all these icons here. Some are old, some are, yeah, these aren't really. So there are a number of ways to do this. So you can see we can put colors. I'm not really a fan of doing that. I don't really use this, to be honest. So let's do something else. Let's first go over to open up app, resources, drawables. And then what we're going to do is right click on the drawables folder and go to new. Then I think there's vector asset. Yeah, so select new and then go down to vector asset. So now this is kind of a little bit, might be a little bit lot to take in. Make sure, the defaults should be fine. And what we need to do is see the clip art right there. Go ahead and click on the whatever icon is there. I've probably used this icon before. That's why it's there. I don't know. But see where it says clip art? Go ahead and click on clip art. And this opens up a dialog with hundreds of icons. You can use these free in any app you want to use. It's free for commercial use, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure these are all open source, or at least can be used for anything. I think I've used them in the past. I've been using these for years. So there are all kinds of icons you can select. You can, like, there's a landscape, or we can go over to the left and kind of select some categories. So hardware, there's computer monitors, we can go to alerts, there's warning icons, editor, there's a lot of toggle. We can kind of toggle between different stuff. There's social networks, social, this is like social stuff, notifications. There are a ton of icons here you can choose from. But let's go ahead and select all of them. I think there's a search. Yeah, so I'm going to type in search there, and we see a number of icons. I'm going to go ahead and select search and hit OK. Then I'm going to go ahead and do next. Then I'm going to hit finish. and that's something else you won't see, that icon, because I'm doing a... So we have drawables there, and that just disappeared, and I'm wondering why that is. Huh. So what did I just do? Why did that disappear? Well, let's open up attributes. And let's go ahead and do that. Actually, let's go ahead and... Here, what do we do? I don't usually use these, to be honest, so I don't really use those. So I think what we can do is we can get rid of that, and I have something else enabled. So we'll do IC search. Okay, so I see what's going on. So we have, so let me show you what I did really quick. So that might be closed. Open it back up. Go ahead and select where it says source compat and just delete everything there. So I have an emulator. I'm using Vim keyboard shortcuts, which is a little bit advanced. So go ahead and just clear everything that's inside of source compat. And you'll notice over here on the left, our IC search black icon, that's what we just added. So there was, when we went to go to new vector assets, it names it right there for us. So that's the name. So we named it that. So if we double click on it, we can see here's the icon. We can go to preview, and that's like a little preview of the icon. I'm going to close the preview, get rid of that because we don't want it. I'm going to close some of this other stuff out. Okay, so here we go. So activity main. So select it, and the source compat. So let's go ahead and do this. So type search. Just start typing search, and or we can start typing like the name of it. So IC search black. So we'll do IC search black, and it pops it up for you. So I'm going to double click on that, and that should change it. So I'm going to go ahead and save it, and I'm going to run it and go back to the emulator, and you're probably noticing that, look, it doesn't show up there. So what's going on? Like, why is it all black? Well, that's because when we created the icon, I created it black, and I should have probably done it white, but we can fix that, I'm pretty sure. So go inside of activity main, go ahead and select the floating action button, and come over here to the attributes, and make sure you can see this right here, and let's go ahead and do tint color. So this is, let's just see what this does. Let's do number, we'll do FF. And that's the color for white. So now you see, hey, so the circle icon, the floating action button is black, but the tint of the color is, or the tint of the color of the floating action, or of the icon is white. Or we should be able to press on this, and I think there are colors here. We can select random colors. We can do, just to show you, we can do different stuff. Now it's blue. We can hit on that, do Android. We can make it red. See, now it's red now. We can click on that. Let's just go ahead and make it back to white again. So there should be white somewhere, background light. We'll just go ahead and do that. There we go. So I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to run it. And if you go back to the emulator, this should work. So let's wait a second, and sure enough, so there's our icon. It's a circle black with a white search bar in the middle, and it shows up a toast, not a toast, a snack bar. So in the next video, we'll continue working on this. So in this video, we learned how to create icons, and any kind of icons. Again, go to the drawables resource, right click, go to new vector asset, and then click on the where it says clip art there, and just scroll through all of these and get whatever you want. So say we want, say we want a thumbs up. I just saw a thumbs up. Yeah, thumbs up. We can go ahead and just click OK, next, finish, and now here's our thumbs up black. And we can click on the preview and see there's our thumbs up. So we're now free to use the thumbs up icon. Anyway, hope you learned something. See you in the next video.